By the end of this, you'll walk through airport security faster, calmer, and more sure of yourself than you have in years. No stopped belt, no agent digging through your bag, no line sighing behind you. That's the promise, and it's yours in the next few minutes. Here's what nobody tells travelers over 60. The way you pack is more likely to get flagged than any other group of flyers. Not because you did anything wrong, because of what you carry. 13 specific things sit in carry-ons right now, packed by careful, well-meaning people that stop the belt every single time. I'm going to walk you through all 13, and you need to stay to number 13. It's a free government service that could change your whole travel day, and almost no senior has ever been told it exists. This is the Terminal Traveler, where travelers over 60 get honest, plain English help. Let's get into it. First, 90 seconds that make everything click. The scanner doesn't see your bag the way you do. When your carry-on rolls through the X-ray, the agent isn't looking at your things. They're looking at density, shape, layers. Anything dense and cluttered gets a second look. That's where things hide. And travelers over 60 pack more of exactly that. More medications, more medical devices, more supplements, more comfort items. Pile it in with your clothes and toiletries, and the picture gets hard to read. The belt stops. You're the holdup, through no fault of your own. Every one of these is fixable, and not by packing less. Just by knowing the rules, starting with the number one offender. Number 1, the weekly pill organizer. And it's number 1 by a mile. I know why you use it, it's practical, and your doctor may have suggested it. But here's what nobody in medicine mentions, because it isn't their job. On the X-ray, an organizer full of loose mixed pills doesn't read as medication. It reads as a compartment full of unidentified substances. That's a flag, every time. The good news? The rule is on your side. TSA allows medications in any amount. They just want them identifiable. So, do this. Pack your organizer like normal. Then drop your original labeled bottles, or a printed medication list, into a small clear bag with it. At the checkpoint, before anyone asks, pull that bag out and set it in its own bin. That one move tells the agent everything before they glance at the screen. It says, "This person knows the drill." Before we go further, one quick thing. Everything you need to know about flying with medications, your CPAP machine, your medical equipment, and over 104 rules covering every step of a trip live inside my Senior Traveler Survival Manual, a playbook for flying calm and in control at any age. It's over at theterminaltraveler.com, linked in the description and pinned at the top of the comments. Now, a rule that stuns people the first time they hear it. Number 2, the liquid rule you know has an exception you don't. You've heard of 311. Carry-on liquids have to be 3.4 ounces or less, all inside 1 quart-size clear bag. Here's what almost nobody knows. That limit does not apply to medically necessary liquids. Insulin, eye drops, saline. You can carry more than 3.4 ounces. They're exempt. But there's a catch. You have to declare them out loud ahead of time. Before you touch a bin, pull them out into their own clear bag, not your toiletries bag. Then, as you reach the officer, hold them up and say, "I have medically necessary liquids." That's it. Now they get a quick, separate check instead of freezing the screen as a mystery mass. And speaking of things that stop the belt cold, the next one sent a friend of mine into a back room for 45 minutes. Number 3, the CPAP machine, packed the usual way. If you use one, and a lot of you do, it's costing you time. Most people leave it zipped in its case and send the whole thing through. That stops the belt almost every time. But the rule works in your favor. A CPAP is a medical device. It doesn't count against your carry-on limit, and no airline can charge you a bag fee for it. The fix is exactly like a laptop. Take the machine out of the case. Lay it flat in its own bin. The tubing and mask can stay behind. Now the picture is clear and you're through in seconds. One extra trick. Tape a note on top. CPAP, medical device. Not required, but agents notice it. Which brings me to something you should never wait to be asked about. Number 4, not telling them what's inside you before you step in the scanner. Pacemaker, defibrillator, cochlear implant, spinal cord or deep brain stimulator. Any implanted electronic device. Say so before you walk through, not when they ask, before. Walk through without a word, the scanner catches it, and you're sent straight to secondary screening. A pat-down. More questions, all avoidable with one sentence. At the front of the line, before you load a bin, step toward the officer and say, "I have a pacemaker," or whatever it is. That switches them to the right procedure from the start. Same goes for a hip or knee replacement. Rods, plates, screws. The metal sets off the scanner, fine, as long as they already know. It's only a problem when they don't. So, tell them first, every time. Now, here's a category that trips people up, because it doesn't feel like a liquid at all. Number 5, your arthritis creams and pain gels. Here's the surprise. TSA classifies gels as liquids. Diclofenac gel, lidocaine, menthol rubs, gel pads. All of it falls under 311 in your carry-on, so it has to be 3.4 ounces or less and fit in your quart bag. And most pain relief tubes are far bigger than that, often 100 grams or more. Pack that, and it gets tossed at the checkpoint. The fix is easy. Squeeze what you need into small travel-sized containers before you leave home. TSA-friendly empties are a couple dollars at any pharmacy. One exception. If the gel is a prescription, it's treated like your prescription liquids. Keep it separate, hold it up, say it's prescribed. For over-the-counter, the limit is firm. Now, before you even reach the bins, what you wore today may already be working against you. Number 6, your travel day outfit. This one catches people flat-footed because it doesn't feel like a packing choice. And the wrong choices can add 15, 20, even 30 minutes at the checkpoint. So, the big ones. First, orthopedic shoes with metal shanks or arch supports. They'll set off the scanner. Tell the officer up front you can ask for a footwear pat-down instead of removing your shoes, which matters if balance is an issue. Second, underwire bras. The wire often trips the scanner at the chest. You don't have to remove anything, but know it may happen, and you can request a female officer. That's your right. Third, back braces, knee braces, compression garments with metal stays. Don't take them off. Just mention them before you go through. And fourth, a pile of jewelry. 7 rings, bracelets, a watch. Bag it before you leave the house, drop the pouch in a bin, and get it back on the other side. No fumbling with clasps while 30 people wait. Speaking of good intentions, the next mistake is kind, and it can turn serious fast. Number 7. Carrying someone else's medications. When families travel, the organized one becomes the pill manager. That's how a grandmother ends up carrying her husband's blood pressure pills, a grandchild's prescription, an adult child's anxiety medication. It comes from love, and it creates a problem because screening is about identification. If an agent questions a bottle that isn't prescribed to you, now you're explaining someone else's private medical business at the checkpoint. Usually it's fine, but with controlled substances, certain sleep, pain, or anxiety prescriptions, it can get serious. So here's the safe rule. Everyone carries their own. And if a companion truly can't, get a short signed letter from their doctor naming the patient, the medication, and why you're carrying it. That letter is the difference between 10 seconds and 45 minutes. Quick pause. If any of this is saving you a headache, tap the like button. It helps me reach more people who need it, and I won't ask again until the end. The next one shows up on the screen as something agents actually have a nickname for. Number 8, a tangled nest of cords. Loose chargers and cables create what agents call a bird's nest, a web of wires they can't see through. And over 60, you carry more of them. Phone, tablet, hearing aid case, CPAP cord, power bank. Pile it in loose, and the screen turns to mush, so they stop the belt and pull the bag. The fix costs about $3, a little zippered cable pouch from any pharmacy. Coil each cord, tuck it in, and it sits flat and clean on the X-ray. And one thing you're coiling up in there has a rule with real teeth. Number 9, lithium batteries in the wrong bag. This got stricter fast. If you travel with anything battery-powered, a heating pad, a TENS unit, a massager, a blood pressure cuff, know this. Spare lithium batteries, meaning any battery not currently inside a working device, must ride in your carry-on. Never in checked luggage, never in the cargo hold. And the terminals have to be protected so they can't short out. Original packaging, a hard case, or tape over the ends. A loose battery with bare terminals is a fire risk, and TSA treats it that way. Most people trip up two ways. They pack spares in the checked bag, or they don't realize their comfort device even has a special battery. Keep the spares up front. In a case. Done. Now let's talk about something you're absolutely allowed to bring that still stops people cold. Number 10. Food. Food is allowed. This isn't about banning your snacks. It's that some foods read as dense, unreadable blocks and trigger a second check. The usual culprits are spreads, and peanut butter is the poster child. TSA classifies it as a GEL, so in your carry-on, it's stuck under the 3.4-ounce limit. Pack a full jar for the protein, and it gets taken. Same with hummus, yogurt, jam, honey, soft cheese, salad dressing, any dip or spread. Want them in the cabin, quart bag, under the size limit. Want the big container? Checked bag. Solid foods are fine, sandwiches, hard-boiled eggs, fruit, crackers, packaged snacks. A sealed container of home cooking might get a second look, but it's allowed, and you can ask for a hand inspection instead of letting them dig through it. And there's one food-shaped item under even more scrutiny lately. Number 11. Powders. If you carry protein powder, greens, collagen, electrolytes, or creatine, and a lot of health-minded folks over 60 do, pay attention, because enforcement tightened. Any powder over 12 ounces in your carry-on can get pulled for extra screening. Agents can open it and test it, and an unmarked baggie drags the whole thing out. So, keep powders in their original labeled containers. Transferred it to travel size, slap a piece of tape on it with the name. 30 seconds. And if you've got more than 12 ounces, put the bulk in your checked bag and keep just a serving or two up front. Now, before the big one, there's a document that in 2026 can stop you before you even reach the scanner. Number 12. Flying without a real ID. As of 2026, real ID is fully enforced. A regular driver's license on its own is no longer enough to board a domestic flight. You need the compliant one, the star in the upper corner of the card, or a valid passport, which also works. And here's the brand new part. Show up without a compliant ID now, and you can be routed through a process called Confirm ID. That can mean a $45 fee, extra identity checks, and a delay of 30 minutes or more. And even then, the clearance only lasts a few days. So, check your wallet tonight. No star and no passport ready? Sort it out before your trip, not at the airport. Okay? Everything so far has been about avoiding trouble. This last one is about getting help. Most people never knew they could ask for. Number 13. And this might be the most useful thing I say all year. It's called TSA Cares, a free helpline run by TSA, and the number is 855-787-2227. Call it up to 72 hours before your flight, and a real person notes everything about your trip in the system, your implanted devices, your equipment, your mobility needs. And here's what they do with it. They can arrange for a passenger support specialist to meet you at the checkpoint in person. Not a regular officer, someone trained specifically to walk travelers with medical or mobility needs through screening, step by step, at your pace, with dignity. It's free, at airports all over the country, and almost no one over 60 has ever been told it's there. So, save that number now. 855-787-2227. TSA Cares. It can turn the most stressful part of your day into the easiest. Quick checklist before you go. Medications, labeled, liquids declared separately, organizer paired with the bottles. Equipment, CPAP out of its case, implants disclosed, spare batteries up front in a case. Clothing, mind the metal shoes, the underwire, the braces, the jewelry. Food and powders, gels and spreads under 3.4 ounces, powders labeled and under 12. ID, a star on the card, or a passport in hand. And that number saved, 855-787-2227. Flying over 60 in 2026 is completely doable. It just asks you to be a step more informed than the average traveler, because the rules are tighter and the scanner's sharper than ever. You deserve to walk up to that checkpoint knowing exactly what to do. So, tell me, Which of these 13 surprised you the most? Drop the number in the comments. I read every one. And if this helped, subscribe. There's a new one every week, built for travelers over 60 who want to fly with confidence. I'll see you in the next.